Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and as you can see today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make pizza. Please make sure to like, comment and subscribe, and let's get straight into the video. So we're going to start off with weighing off all the ingredients. So you will need 325 grams of strong flour, 4 grams of yeast, 1 teaspoon of salt, 15 milliliters of olive oil, 25 milliliters of milk and 160 ml of water. I will leave all this in the description below. First you add the milk and the olive oil, and then you slowly start adding in the water. And as you can see, the dough is quite wet, so I do use a little bit of flour to dust the surface while I'm kneading. You keep kneading the dough till it has kind of like an elasticy consistency and it's starting to become smoother. And then after this is done, you leave the dough to prove till it has doubled in size. So while we're waiting for the dough to prove, we will now start making the tomato base for the pizza. So firstly, we are going to just finely chop a small onion. So once we have now chopped up all the onion, we want to heat up a small pan and add in a little bit of olive oil. We then want to add the onions to the pan and slowly cook them. The best way to break down the onion is to add a bit of salt, and add more than you think, because once all the ingredients are added in together it will be fine, and this helps break down the onion. So now we are going to chop up 1 clove of garlic. What I like to do is to thinly slice the garlic, and then we're kind of going to crush it and make it into a paste. The best way to crush the garlic is with using the blade of your knife. So once it's finely chopped, you will just want to press it with the blade of your knife and just keep pressing it, and eventually it will turn into a paste. Once it has now become a paste, we want to add it in with the onions and give that a good mix. So now I'll be adding in peeled plum tomatoes. You're actually meant to use chopped tomatoes, but I didn't have any, so these will work just fine. And what I like to do is kind of just crush them and just make them into smaller pieces, and then give it a good mix, and we will leave this to simmer for a while. We'll also be adding in a couple of squirts of tomato paste as well. I'll now be adding in some dried oregano and some dried mixed herbs too. I also like to add in a couple of bay leaves as well, which helps add to the flavour. As you can see now, the sauce has actually gone thicker, and this happens while you keep letting it simmer down. It's not at the right consistency yet, but once you keep letting it simmer, it will be. So now that the dough is ready and it's proved, and as you can see it has doubled in size, so what we are going to do now is just tip out the dough and knock the dough back. Now that the dough has been knocked back, we're just going to put it back into the bowl and let it prove again just for about another half an hour or so. So now while we're waiting for the dough to rise again, we're just going to get all the toppings ready for the pizza. So here I'm just going to be grating a little bit of cheddar. I'm going to be adding some olives as well to the pizza, and I'm just going to be thinly slicing a couple of these. I'm also going to be putting some onion as well on the pizza, and I'm just going to be slicing up a really small onion. So now I'll be adding mozzarella as well onto the pizza, and the easiest way I find is to just get a small bowl ready on the side, cut the packet open just a little bit and pouring out all the water that's going to come out, and it really helps, and it's easier to just take the mozzarella out as well. So now we can open up the bag and just take the mozzarella ball out, and I'm just going to be thinly slicing this. Now that the dough is ready, we're just going to tip it out onto a lightly floured surface and rolling it out to the right consistency. But firstly, I'm just going to cut the dough in half because I'm making two pizzas, and just making sure that they're both kind of even, and just cutting a bit off the other side if you feel there's more dough on the other. Now that the pizza bases have been rolled out, we're now going to be putting the sauce on top of the pizzas. So I just split the sauce kind of in half and just spreading a thin layer around the base, but not all the way to the edges because of the crust. Pizza bases are all ready. We're going to now put all the toppings on the pizza. I like to put the mozzarella on first and then adding all the other toppings on top. So now that the pizzas are all done, we want to put them in the oven. I have already preheated the oven at 220 degrees and I'm going to just start off by leaving them in there for 15 minutes. The pizzas took around 23-24 minutes to cook. I will leave the recipe in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe.